The chilling embrace. My name, or what little meaning it still holds, is Edmund. Varon Manor, perched precariously on the highest, most exposed bluff overlooking the frigid Massachusetts coast, has been my sanctuary, my prison, and now, my chrysalis for 47 years. I came here fleeing the cacophony of human interaction, seeking the quiet solitude only stone walls and miles of windswept wilderness can provide. This winter has been particularly brutal, a relentless siege of ice, snow, and wind howling like a banshee determined to tear the very timbers from the earth. It suits me. The fewer souls venturing near, the better. People, you see, are warm. Not just physically, though that is part of their offense. They radiate an energy, a peculiar heat of emotion, expectation, and tiresome vulnerability that I find repellent. Numbing. Draining. I prefer the cold. The clean, unfeeling bite of it. The way it stills things. Preserves them. For years, my eccentricity manifested in my reclusive habits, my meticulous cataloging of frost patterns on the windowpanes, the bizarre, frost-hardened fungi I collected from the woods, the way I preferred my library fire banked low, the chills seeping into my bones as I read antiquated texts on natural philosophy and morbid anatomy. It started insidiously, as all true horrors do. A subtle shift. I noticed it first when the ancient boiler finally gave up the ghost 2 months ago, plunging the entire house into an icy tomb. While despair might grip another man, a peculiar sense of rightness settled over me. The air became sharp, crystalline. My breath plumed in thick clouds, and yet, the biting wind that rattled the window frames no longer seemed an enemy. Instead, it felt familiar. A companion. Then came the physical changes. A numb patch on my left hand, initially dismissed as poor circulation from cold. But it didn't tingle back to life. It spread. The skin there took on a waxy, almost translucent quality, the veins beneath a faint, brittle blue. My joints began to ache, not with the soft protest of age or damp, but with a deep, grinding stiffness, as if they were packed with fine, icy crystals. Simple tasks, like turning the heavy brass doorknobs or lifting my teacup, the tea itself, always scalding hot before, now lukewarm quickly losing its meager warmth, became laborious. Sleep offered no respite. My dreams were not of warmth or comfort, but of vast, frozen landscapes, of being buried under layers of perpetual snow, of silent, jagged peaks piercing a black, starless sky. And there was a hunger. Not for food, the thought of warm meals, of flesh, became increasingly repulsive, but for something else. A craving that settled deep in my marrow. A yearning for equilibrium. The equilibrium of absolute zero. I began to spend more time outside, even during the blizzards that kept the world cowering indoors. The snow settled on my shoulders, melting on my woolen coat but feeling like a feather-light blanket. The wind whipped around me, carrying the scent of salt and ice, and I felt no sting on my cheeks, only a curious exhilaration. My eyesight, always poor, seemed to sharpen in the twilight gloom, the world taking on stark, high-contrast shapes against the white landscape. I could see the intricate structure of individual snowflakes, the delicate, icy lace of frost forming on bare branches. The numbness continued its march, creeping up my arms, across my chest, down my legs. My skin grew pale, the color draining away like water from a breached dam. Where the numbness settled, the skin felt unnaturally smooth, cold to the touch even by my own standards, and strangely hard. I remember running a finger over my forearm, feeling the strange, unyielding surface, a sensation akin to touching polished stone or ancient, fossilized bone. There was no pain, no discomfort, just a profound, alien stillness. My heart used to thrum a frantic, fluttery beat when I was agitated. Now, it felt sluggish, a slow, heavy drum barely audible in my chest. Sometimes, in the dead of night, I would press my hand there and feel nothing. A chilling void. The mirrors became my morbid fascination. My reflection was changing. My eyes, once a pale, watery blue, seemed to deepen, the pupils expanding, taking on a cold, reflective sheen like ice. My face, always gaunt, became a mask of stark angles, the flesh pulled taut over the changing bone structure. My hair thinned, losing its color, taking on a brittle, white opacity like frozen cobwebs. I looked less like a man and more like an apparition, a figure carved from frost and shadow. There was a moment, a specific dreadful evening during the worst blizzard of the year, when the transformation accelerated terrifyingly. The house groaned under the assault of the wind. I stood by the largest window, watching the snow swirl horizontally, obscuring the world entirely. A profound emptiness settled over me, emptying my mind of human concerns, loneliness, fear, even the morbid curiosity that had driven me. All that remained was the cold. It wasn't outside, it was within. It pulsed through my veins, not as blood, but as something else, something slower, denser, and unimaginably cold. My fingers, already stiff, twisted and lengthened slightly, the nails thickening, taking on a bluish-white hue. I saw patches on my hands and neck where the skin was no longer flesh, but a lattice of intricate, icy crystals just beneath the surface, visible through the thin, translucent outer layer. I reached out and touched the glass of the window. It was cold, naturally, but my touch didn't warm it in the slightest. In fact, I felt a strange draw from the cold glass, a resonance. It felt like touching a part of myself. The hunger intensified, a deep, aching void that no human food could fill. It was a hunger for the cold, for the absence of warmth, for the stillness that only absolute freezing could provide. I found myself drawn to the coldest parts of the house, the cellar, where forgotten preserves had long since turned to mold and ice, the unheated attic, where the wind whistled through cracks in the shingles, and most of all, the outdoors. My movements became less fluid, more deliberate, the stiffness in my joints necessitating a slow, deliberate gait. Yet, there was a strange power in this new body, a resilience to the elements that was truly astonishing. I could walk through drifts that came up to my waist, the icy crystals brushing against my crystalline skin, feeling nothing but a dull, satisfying pressure. I could stand for hours in the face of a gale, feeling the wind sculpt the snow around me, freezing it against my form, making me one with the landscape. The last vestiges of human emotion are fading. Fear, once a constant, low hum beneath my surface, is gone. What is there to fear when the elements that kill others are becoming the very essence of you? Loneliness is a concept for those who need connection. I am disconnecting from everything, even myself. Even my morbid curiosity has been replaced by a simple, unblinking observation of the world through eyes that perceive only shades of white, blue, and black, and feel only the profound, unfeeling touch of ice and wind. I no longer require sleep. I stand for hours in the darkened rooms, a figure of frost and shadows, listening to the house settle around me, the timbers groaning in the grip of the cold, the wind a constant, low murmur that seems to whisper secrets I am slowly beginning to understand. The cold outside is no longer just weather, it is my environment, my element. The house itself, so long my shell, is becoming an extension of my being, its stones laced with frost that mirrors the crystals forming within me. I catch glimpses of myself in the darkened window panes. The figure is taller, gaunter, composed of angles sharp as ice shards. The eyes are points of frozen light. The skin is no longer skin, but a tessellation of crystalline structures, faintly luminous in the gloom. I reach out, and my hand, now irrevocably transformed, touches the cold glass. There is no reflection, only the merging of the two surfaces, cold against cold, stillness against stillness. I am not yet complete. The process continues, a slow, irreversible crystallization of flesh, bone, and mind. The hunger is still there, a deep thrumming in my core, a yearning for the absolute zero that will finally erase the last lingering spark of warmth, of life as humans understand it. But I am close. I feel the eternal cold settling into my deepest core, solidifying my existence. Soon, Edmund will be gone entirely. All that will remain is the silence, the frost, the unfeeling, eternal presence within the walls of Varin Manor, waiting for the perpetual winter to claim the world, one frigid soul at a time. I am the cold, and the cold is me. Forever.